Better call Saul.
Thank you all for joining. If you're here, feel free to say hi. This is the introduction of Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. The greatest discovery of my generation is that a human being can alter his life by altering his attitude. William James. Whenever we're dealing with bad news, a difficult person, or disappointment of some kind, most of us get into certain habits, ways of reacting to life, particularly adversity, that don't serve us very well. We overreact, blow things out of proportion, hold on too tightly, and focus on the negative aspects of life. When we are immobilized by little things, when we are irritated, annoyed, and easily bothered over our easily bothered, our overreactions not only make us frustrated, but actually get in the way of getting what we want. We lose sight of the bigger picture, focus on the negative, and annoy other people who might otherwise help us. In short, we are living our lives as if they were one great big emergency. We often rush around looking busy, trying to solve problems, but in reality, we're often compounding them. Because everything seems like such a bad deal, we end up spending our lives with one drama after another. After a while, we begin to believe that everything real is a big deal. Everything really is a big deal. We fail to recognize that the way we relate to our problems has a lot to do with how quickly and efficiently we solve them. As I hope you will soon discover, when you learn the habit of responding to life with more ease, problems that seemed insurmountable before will now seem manageable. Even the biggies, things that are truly stressful, won't throw you off track as much as they once did. Happily, there's another way to relate to life, a softer, more graceful path that makes life seem easier and the people in it more compatible. This other way of living involves replacing old habits of reaction with new habits of perspective. These habits enable us to have richer, more satisfying lives. I'd like to share a personal story of mine that's touched my heart and reinforced an important lesson. A story that demonstrates the essential message of this book. As you will see, the events of this story planted the seed for the title of the book you're about to read. Over a year ago, a foreign publisher contacted me and requested that I attempt to get an endorsement from best-selling author Dr. Wayne Dyer for a foreign edition of my book, You Can Feel Good Again. I told them for that while Dr. Dyer had given me his endorsement for an earlier book, I had no idea whether or not he would consider doing so again. I told him, however, that I would try. As is often the case in the publishing world, I sent out my request but did not hear back. After some time had gone by, I came to the conclusion that Dr. Dyer was either too busy or unwilling to write an endorsement. I honored this decision and let the publisher know that we wouldn't be able to use his name to promote the book. I considered the case closed. About 6 months later, however, I received a copy of the foreign edition, and to my surprise, right on the cover was the old endorsement from the earlier book from Dr. Dyer. Despite my specific instructions to the contrary, the foreign publisher had used the earlier quote and transferred it to the new book. I was extremely upset, worried about the implications as well as the possible consequences. I called my literacy agent, who immediately contacted the publisher and demanded that the books be taken off the shelves. In the meantime, I decided to write Dr. Dyer an apology, explaining the situation and all that was being done to rectify the problem. After a few weeks of wondering what his response might be, I received a letter in the mail that said the following: Richard, there are two rules for living in harmony. Don't sweat the small stuff, and it's all small stuff. Let the quote stand. Love, Wayne. That was it. No lectures, no threats, no hard feelings, no confrontation. Despite the obvious unethical use of his very famous name, he responded with grace and humility. No feathers ruffled. His response demonstrated the important concepts of going with the flow and of learning to respond to life gracefully with ease. For more than a decade, I have worked with clients, helping them to approach life in a more accepting way. Together, we deal with all types of issues: stress, relationship problems, work related issues, addictions, and general frustrations. In this book, I will share with you specific strategies, things that you can start doing today that will help you respond to life more gracefully. The strategies are going to The strategies you are going to read about are the ones that have proven themselves to be the most successful by clients and readers of mine over the years. They also represent the way I like to approach my own life, the path of least resistance. Each strategy is simple yet powerful and will act as a navigational guide to point you in the direction of greater perspective and more relaxed living. You'll find that many of the strategies will not only apply to isolated events, but many of life's most difficult challenges. When you don't sweat the small stuff, your life won't be perfect, but you will learn to accept what life has to offer with far less resistance. As we learn in Zen philosophy, when you learn to let go of problems instead of resisting with your all your might, your life will begin to flow. As you will, as a serenity prayer suggests, change the things that can be changed, accept the things that cannot, and have the wisdom to know the difference. I'm confident that if you give these strategies a try, you will learn two rules of harmony. Don't sweat the small stuff, and it's all small stuff. As you incorporate these ideas into your life, you will begin to create a more peaceful and loving you. So that's all for today. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for watching the recording if you were here. I'm hopefully going to be doing one of these each a day, recording it so that we can put it out on the YouTube. I think these are all unbelievable lessons. I was given this book through one of the toughest times of my life, and in healing from that, my dad gave me this book. It was one of the books he always had growing up. He was always stressed out over small things, and we used to use it to kind of make fun of him. So it's kind of ironic that he giving it to me and me actually reading it and then really taking it in so much so that I've been reading it, as much as I can, and rereading it over the last few years. So I thought I'd just share this with you guys, and I'm excited to get into tomorrow, which the first lesson is don't sweat the small stuff.